Is The Matrix Resurrections good? I want to discuss the success or failure of The Matrix Resurrections as an exercise on critical analysis of story and meta-narrative. A quick primer on my perspective. First and foremost, the SCP Foundation is a creative writing community, and as the art form of writing SCPs has evolved over the last 15 years, authors have had to play with the format in order to keep things fresh. One arm of that evolution is what we call the meta-articles. Meta-articles break the fourth wall. Maybe the Foundation realizes they're fictional, maybe the SCP attacks the reader directly. Wikidot even has a feature where they can insert your username into the article if you're signed in. The first time an article called me out by name at midnight in a dark room, I was pissed. And one of the most divisive kinds of meta, personal favorite of mine, is when the author uses their article to talk about something. One of my favorite articles on the site is SCP-3999, where the author uses this very surreal horror to tell the story about them having a kind of mental breakdown over writing for one of the contests on the wiki. Articles like this purposefully break your immersion, reminding you that you are reading a website and there is an author behind the story. The recent hit game Inscription did this to great effect. You start with a card game, then you can get up from the table and now it's an escape room. Then you exit that game into another game, and then there's an ARG with a YouTube channel and old Reddit posts from the developer, and you're back in the real world rather than inside the world of the game, but the real world is still part of the game in that, isn't it? Long story short, too late. Most stories just keep their fourth wall up the whole time. Some break it for a quick laugh, some break it as an integral part of the story. So now that you understand where I'm coming from, The Matrix Resurrections. It seems to me that most of the critique of this film on the internet is completely ignoring the meta aspect, just treating it like this film has a solid fourth wall. And that's weird. It seems like they've completely missed the meta-commentary, or they just don't see it as an integral aspect of the film. Comparing this to another, we literally remade the same movie, Star Wars The Force Awakens. Disney remade A New Hope on purpose for business reasons. Nostalgia sells. We need to ease people back into Star Wars after the long break and the mixed reviews of the prequels. That was it. They made what would make money. On the other hand, Matrix Resurrections being beat for beat in alignment with the original Matrix was done on purpose to comment on so many things about the production of this film, about the impact of the last one. There was commentary on the fact that Warner Brothers was going to do a Force Awakens with the Matrix. We're doing this film with or without you, Wachowski. They commented on how the original film's critique of capitalism and trans allegory got usurped by the right wing. Red pill anyone? The symbolism of redoing the same day in the treadmill for both capitalism grind and for retreading the same story against your will. Now, I'm not saying the movie is perfect or even good. I'm not saying they implemented their meta-commentary correctly. But what I am saying is that The Matrix Resurrections is not the same as The Force Awakens. It's not just a beat-for-beat remake. There are reasons and there's meta-commentary, and to rip those off and ignore them is to ignore what the story is and is about. If you made it this far, I hope this gives you a different outlook on that movie, but more importantly, insight into how artists look at stories at differing levels.